Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my story. I don't have this written down, so I'm going to kind of do it from memory, so it might start jumping all over the place, but I'll try and keep it together. So my name is Christiana. I'm currently 19 years old. I'm a sophomore in college. I'm studying to be a social worker. Um, what else is important about me? Um, I've struggled with self-injury since I was 13 or 14, I think. And I'm going to try not to be graphic about any of this because I really don't want to trigger others, but I will try and share some of it with you. I first started self-injuring because at school I had a lot of friends who were also self-injuring, and um, I wanted to understand what they were going through. So I started self-harming then. My mom found out. It was a big to-do, and I got in trouble, and my mom just watched me like crazy after that to try and make sure I wasn't doing anything again. And really, I think that first time I wasn't really addicted to it or anything. I just wanted to understand what was going on. And after I had done it some, I was like, okay. So it was kind of that. But then it came back, I think it was 2 years later. So yeah, I must have been 14 when I started because it was when I was a sophomore in high school. And yeah, it just got really bad 2 years later, which was my first year in college. I went to a community college near my house for a year, and then I came to the school I'm at now, and I've been here this is my second year here. So it was my very first year of college. I got back into it. There were people at work who I worked with, my coworkers, were making really obnoxious comments about how we couldn't sell certain blades. I worked in the hardware department at that time as a cashier, and how we couldn't sell certain blades if you were younger than 18. We had to put in the age in the cash register in the computer, and so they were making comments about just that kind of thing, and it really, I don't know, it got a hold of me, and everything went downhill again, and I started self-injuring. And that time was really the worst. I self-injured probably daily for a few months at least. And then on and off again, periodically, during random weeks, random times of that year. And it just got to be really bad. And I just found myself using it as a coping mechanism. If my mom was mad at me or somebody else was mad at me, I'd hurt myself. If I wasn't doing well in school, I'd hurt myself. If I was stressed out, I'd hurt myself. Sometimes even if I'd had a good day, I would hurt myself because I just felt like that was what happened. I did that every day, and I just had to keep it up. I just had to keep doing it. Which is, of course, a really, dangerous way of thinking. So once I realized that, I finally pulled it together and decided to stop on June 19th last year, which is my birthday. So I decided that I'd give that as a present to myself. For my 18th birthday, I would work on my self-injury, and I would take that out of my life because it was getting to the point where I knew I shouldn't be doing it, and I almost didn't want to, but I still felt like it was like a compulsion to keep doing it. So I started to stop then. I had a few relapses. Last time I relapsed was either Thanksgiving night or just around Thanksgiving last year, so I'm coming up on almost a year clean. It's been really rough. There was a lot of issues in there that different issues with sexual abuse and harassment, and eating and body image and relationships, all that kind of stuff really played in, and I let it affect me in that way. So that's something that I'm working on, and I've been working for almost a year now with different friends, with 2 different counselors I've had, to work on changing my behavior, to work on changing the coping mechanisms, to find out the trigger right when it's happening, and then to analyze it and work through it and find a better way to handle it. I think a lot of my problems, the reasons why I self-injured, were because I felt numb, I felt too much emotion, I stopped crying altogether. I would just self-injure and I didn't cry at all. It took me a really long time to kind of even like learn how to cry again, because it was something I just resisted because I wanted to self-injure instead. So feeling numb, feeling too much emotion, negative feelings, like feeling like a failure or like I had messed up or let someone down. And I mean, I think that those were my main triggers. It was just kind of, it had to do a lot with feelings. I'm a really emotional person, which you might learn as all progresses. But yeah, so that's why I started Stronger Than the Scars, because I've watched a lot of friends battle through self-injury, and I've battled through self-injury, and it's really, I for a while thought I was going to die from self-injury because it was pretty severe. So I just, yeah, it's a tough thing. But I just want to let you all know that there are people who love you. You're not alone. There are different support systems you can utilize. There's different, what's the word I'm looking for, organizations that can provide help or tips. So yeah, so don't get too hopeless, because it is possible to turn things around and to change. So yeah, that's my story basically. I'm sure you'll hear more of it as we continue along with the weekly videos. But that's where I am right now. Right now, I haven't self-harmed almost a year. There's still pretty bad days, but overall, I think what I've learned is that the further you get away from the last time that you self-injured, the easier it gets. Like the first couple months are really hard, but then it starts to get easier. It doesn't ever go away, but it gets easier. It gets better. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to share with you guys today. So yeah, if you are at all interested or have questions, you can leave them in the comments below. You can send me an ask on our Tumblr, which is strongerthanthescars.tumblr.com, no spaces. Yeah, and if you, I don't know, if you really like this and you know of somebody who might be helped by it, by what we're doing, you can let them know, send them to our Tumblr, send them to our YouTube, and yeah, it would just, begging is not really flattering. It doesn't look good on anybody, so I don't want to beg, but I'm really thankful if you enjoy it and want to share others. That's great. So yeah, I hope that you all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of the week. I'll see you next week. I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about next week, but we'll see and we'll get through it. Thank you all for being so patient with me while I ramble. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!